Get back to work. Go on.
It's been a while now. For all sorts of reasons, days and days have gone by without this camera being available to me, and I finally got to the point where everything is confluenced to come together. So I don't know where the last video was, but I attached a pipe to the back here that was tapered off, filled it full of caulk, and then just a couple days ago I put this JB Weld exterior onto it. And next up, what I'll be doing is making some ribs of Ava's epoxy, going here along there, tapering off in here, and then definitely underneath here and underneath there. I don't know that there would be any here at all, but I do need to add some extra paneling at the front, right down there, according to the camera, to make this not look like it's layered up at all, or at least as much as it is. So this should be a nice good hard shell to work with. It's about 48 hours that it's been drying. I did all this scraping off yesterday and came up with the rib idea. So once the ribs are in place, 24 to 48 hours, I'll fill that full of styrofoam, and then yeah, essentially that would be ready for paint at that point. And speaking to paint, I may be able to do a lot of it or some of it a lot sooner than later, just to keep everything moving. I do need to get a lot of tape though, and newspapers to mask everything off. All of this here is going to go next to white and different grays. Once that's dry in a couple days, I'm going to put all new red and yellow stripes down. They're probably going to terminate on the end of this line here. The way the reference goes, I mean, obviously the droid slot is further back, and the configuration is different because this is a car. The yellow and red stripes come out to the very end of the canopy, and while this canopy essentially ends way back here behind the droid, the one in the movie ends there, which brings it in line with the wheel well, sort of, or the wheel itself almost. That leaves just a little quarter panel to do and X-wing stripes. Whether I take those stripes from here and do the red block as if it were the tire, then have the stripes come up, or do a little red patch here with smaller stripes, we'll see. Over here I do need the red chevron or pendant that goes behind the torpedo tubes, and there's other specific markings around the torpedo tubes as well that I have to incorporate. So there's some work to do, but it will be basically displayable relatively soon. I lucked out and found the original blue here. I had switched, last time I was at the paint store, they had a variant which was a gloss, and I think this is satin or a matte at least. And I found another replacement. So at this point it's going to be painting over all of this, and then I'll be adding the second panels back on top. The same goes for this area here as well. So let me get into it. Before I get too much further, I should go over what I'm doing. Underneath this sheet of styrene here is actually a layer of Ava's epoxy to bring it up to a different height. Once this sets, I'll be putting another layer over that to match up with this and bring it into line and feather it into the body. So I had enough mixed up to do the entire top and all of what you see here, so I'm going to fill this section next, layer it over with styrene again, just as I'm doing here. And I'm actually able to merge the Avas over some of the styrene to actually embed it in there. I should have enough to do a few ribs for the bottom. We'll see how that goes when I get to it. It looks like I may be using nearly all my Avas on this. And even then, there'll still be some more layering to do to bring it up and make it flush, of course. I'd like to make this seam as invisible as possible, or set it back, or make it look like it's set back a little further. Hopefully I'll see if I can do that or not. I suppose over time it would still wear. And here is the last of my Avas. I've got these braces here which I'll be filling with caulk when they're cured. Didn't put any Avas epoxy down here. It's all smacked up behind there. I didn't put any Avas epoxy down there. And this is all smoothed out, and as you can see, it's definitely been christened in blood from, of all things, a styrene cut on my finger. So, now that the Avas is about to set, I can finally get in and bandage up this finger. And what I'm about to do is enclose this area here with this piece of plastic. I'll be pushing it up and then tucking all this Avas into as many corners as I can. And then I'll be putting gaffer's tape over all of it to hold it into place for the next 24 hours or so. Here we are, essentially all sealed up. It's only tacked into place using the adhesion of the Avas. So I'm going to gaff tape this all up to keep it in place for the next day. And then I'll either peel off or break the plastic that's there and cut better pieces and go from there. Make this a seamless piece as much as possible. And, well, maybe I'll panel it. We'll see. I don't know. But I do seem to have to increase the rise over here at this end. It seems to kind of droop. So I'll build that up, flush it into here, and then figure out how the panel's cut from there. And then later on I'll add to the bottom of that one when I have more material to work with. And of course, once I pull off these panels, I'll be shooting piles of caulk into there and then putting the panels back on. Then probably coating it all with a thin layer of JB Weld. And so to conclude the day, what's going on? A lot of bright light, huh? So the entire quarter panel has been painted basic white. I'm going to let that sit for a day, let it cure. I was going to mask right away, but I already tore up some paint, so I'm going to let that sit. I gotta have patience. That's all taped up down there, as you can see. And over here I did these white panels surrounding this gray panel, and I screwed up. I shouldn't have masked that off at all. I don't know why I did. So this whole thing, well, may as well paint it anyway, and I'll do a different color. Oh, then again, maybe I'll do the same color again. We'll see. And I'll have to scrape a few things down. So that's for today's work, fixing up the Starboard. Thanks for watching. See ya.